It's the resistance of the champions of diversity, and they're not just ethnically various, they're zoologically various, against the enforcers of uniformity.
In that sense, if you go back and look at the Cold War, where the United States had reached across the planet from Japan and South Korea to Europe, and there was a very broad coalition of people representing many different value systems and structures, but who had collectively concluded that they didn't want a Soviet tyranny imposed on them.
Many people like to read the Soviet Union as the empire, but I think that Lucas was thinking of the empire in the original film, A New Hope, as the system, the man. The monolithic, faceless side of power that's threatening to squelch us all.
Joseph Campbell thought that perhaps the great moral question of our time is, will we live for the machine, or will we live for humanity?
Magnificent, aren't they?
And he thought the Star Wars films presented this in stark contrast.
In Star Wars, technology is symbolic of the loss of humanity. We see that in Darth Vader's robot body that displaces his human existence, or the Imperial walkers, the Imperial cruisers, or the Death Star itself.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The Death Star looks like a planet, but it's not. It's a machine.
And when you go inside of it, it's hollow. And so it shows you that the heart of that society is completely hollow.
Continue with the operation. You may fire when ready.
What?
You're far too trusty. Dantooine is too remote to make an effective demonstration, but don't worry. We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough.
No.
Commence primary ignition.
And we are torn about technology. When Homer wrote about the ancient Greeks battling, they had the power to destroy one another, but they could not destroy the whole world.
Lucas uses machines to great effect, and the fact that it's how humans use them that makes the difference of whether it's good or it's bad. It's true of our computers. It's also true of a gun.
So uncivilized.
The rebels obviously use technology too. They have spaceships too. They're happy to use it.
Moving to attack position.
But the rebels win not through superior firepower, but because they trust in something larger than themselves.
Luke, trust your feelings.
And right at the conclusion of Episode 4, A New Hope, you see this very clearly.
Use the Force, Luke.
Where Luke turns off his targeting computer, doesn't trust in the technology, but trusts in the Force, and this allows him to destroy this huge machine, which the Empire did not suspect.
The irony is that so much of what happens in Star Wars could not have been done if you turn the machines off. So it ends up being about the relationship, the balance between who we are, what our intent is, and the technology, the tools we use to realize that intent.
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
I think the message is don't rely on the technology. Rely on yourself.
Star Wars touches the ancient theme. This has been repeated time after time after time with history. Recognize that even after evil has risen and is full force on, that the best that's in us is to resist that, and that one person can make a difference.
Yeah.
This is a rebel that surrendered to us.
Although he denies it, I believe there may be more of them, and I request permission to conduct a further search of the area. He was armed only with this.
An important part of Joseph Campbell's model was reconciliation with father. That is, to reconnect with one's own father, perhaps after adolescent rebellion or perhaps after some feeling of betrayal or something. But on a larger scale, it's reconnecting with a larger human framework.
The Emperor has been expecting you.
I know, Father.
By Return of the Jedi, you'll notice that Luke is now wearing an all-black costume. He's gone from a white garment in the first film, which shows his innocence and his naivete. He's passed through this tremendous initiation period, and he has accepted the negativity within himself, and he has found a way to deal with that.
I feel the conflict within you. Let go of your hate.
It is too late for me, son.
As soon as Luke finds out that Darth Vader is his father, he has a fundamental choice. What will he do about this fact? On the one hand, the Emperor and Vader believe that he will be drawn to the dark side.
Welcome, young Skywalker. I'm looking forward to completing your training.
On the other hand, he can do what Obi-Wan and Yoda want. He can preserve himself from that attachment to his father and so destroy Vader and the Emperor. But Luke invents a third alternative. He does something totally unexpected. He goes not to kill his father, not to turn to the dark side, but turn him back to the good.
Your hate has made you powerful. Fulfill your destiny and take your father's place at my side.
Never. I'll never turn to the dark side. You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Luke saves everything through his attachment to his father.
So be it, Jedi.
This is a very Christian, redemptive moment in the film. There's no hatred in him, and it's through his own offering up of himself that he's able to bring a salvation to his father.
You could kind of see Luke Skywalker as a messianic figure who comes from humble origins and rises to a place where he redeems the Father. The Father's redeemed through the Son.
Luke, help me take this mask off.
But you'll die.
Nothing can stop that now.
The path to self-knowledge requires us to understand where we came from. It's the relationship of Odysseus to Laertes. Ultimately, in the journey home of the Odyssey, Odysseus becomes his own father. And it is only through becoming your own father that you actually grow up.
Just for once, let me look on you with my own eyes.
Anakin wants to see Luke through his own eyes, so he would rather recover his humanity, which means also facing death, to see out of himself as father to son.
One of my favorite scenes in the Iliad is when the great hero Hector takes his little baby boy. He has his helmet down. He's about to go off to battle. The baby is scared. He's looking at his helmeted father and he can't see his face. And then the lovely Hector pushes his helmet back and looks on his baby son and kisses him and says, "My son, one day the Trojans will say, you are like me. You are strong and the bravest in battle." And then again, one day they will say, "No, he is greater than his father."
No. Go, my son. Leave me.
No, you're coming with me. I'll not leave you here. I've got to save you.
You already have.